What do my gente boys coming through once again, and on today's video we're going to talk about the conviction of a M member and 3 associates that carry out a pegada behind a detention center, right? This was a federal detention center that happened 4 or 5 years ago. So before we continue with this video, man, don't forget to hit the like, throw a comment, man, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, man, hit the subscribe button real quick, man. It doesn't cost you nothing. I'm not asking for too much, and all you're doing are helping my channel to be pushed out there. I'll highly appreciate it. For those who've been subscribed, for those new subscribers, I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. I highly appreciate it, man. So let's get to the video, man. So this past week, a mafia member by the name of Michael Ledesma, who's 68, man, most known as Big Mike or Pomona Mike, got found guilty with 3 other individuals, man. These 3 other individuals are Carlos Popeye Gonzalez, who's 41, Juan Squitz Sanchez, who's 33, and Jose Swifty Valenzuela, who's 43, man. According to records, it says that Big Mike had ordered a hit of an individual who is described as SB, right? That's how we're gonna put it. Because this individual owed the casa some money for a drug debt. So according to records, Michael Ledesma, Big Mike, had ordered a hit on a federal inmate that was incarcerated at the Metropolitan Detention Center in downtown LA more than 4 years ago. This happened on June 2020. So apparently what took place is basically this guy didn't pay up for a drug debt that he had collected, and Big Mike or Pomona Mike wanted that money. So he sent those 3 individuals, hitters, to collect his money. And since they couldn't collect money, literally, they had to collect his life. So that's what happened. So they had found the victim strangled with stab wounds inside this federal detention center, right? So the guy couldn't pay up. They had to get him, and the only way to collect it was by taking his life, and that's what they did. So how many of us haven't heard this story already, and where an individual runs a debt, and instead of the big homie give him an out, right? Let me put in some work for it. Basically, they want his win, and they send some torpedoes, some individuals to put in some work on this one guy to basically take him out, and nobody gets paid at the end of the day. Now, Trip, I do understand that a lot of people take advantage of addiction, like this case. That's the whole purpose of the game, right? You come across somebody who has an addiction, you milk him for all the money that he has, and then after that, you get rid of it, right? Sorry to put it this way, but that's what it is, right? Now, when it comes down to the name of United Raza, do you see any unity right here? Because I do not see this unity, because let me put it this way. It's not only this case, it's many cases. That's why a lot of people end up crossing to the other side, because of this same scenario, right? But for so much of preaching of the unity of the Raza from Southern California or the Raza from Northern California, I don't see this unity when it comes down to this type of incidents, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to help the Raza, man, you know what? The Raza, he messed up for sure. But now give him out. Help him out. Be like, you know what? You done fucked up, homie. But you're going to have to put in some work in order to pay. You have to help me with some favors in order to pay your debt, right? Instead of just being like, you know what? Take him out. That's it. You know, I do understand that there's principles, and that's one thing in prison. You know, it's the principle. You know, it's not the act, is what it means behind the whole line and stuff like that. So we understand it some way, but in a big picture, it contradicts this ideology that is put out there. Now, Big Mike has been known to have great influential on the streets of Pomona. Now, we don't know if he has that much power like he used to be at one point. But one thing that I can tell you that he's very known on the streets. Now, this individual was directing an enterprise behind prison walls, right? And where this enterprise was in charge of identity theft, fraud, collecting taxes, trafficking with substances, and all this generated a certain amount of money that had to be sent to him. And eventually, that's how these individuals live behind the walls. Now, let's not forget that this guy is 68 years old. He's been down since the 80s. He has a C number, but this didn't stop him from directing his enterprise, moving people around and doing pegadas. Let's not forget that this guy been on the back for Pelican Bay. Eventually, they were led on the yards, and now they have more access to individuals. Now, being on the back didn't stop this individual to actually have control of the streets of Pomona, and also have control of the prison of Calipat, where he was collecting some taxes, right? I don't know how much they collect, man, but it seems like they're collecting good money from different people. And at the end of the day, man, collecting money, man, can become addicted if you were to ask me, right? And just imagine sitting down in your cell, making a couple calls, man, to the homies out on the streets, man, or in Calipat, and collecting taxes, collecting debts and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, all that is going to your bank account, or it's going to your family, or whoever's out there controlling your finances. Now, if you were to ask me on some real stuff, you have to think about this, right? There's a small amount of individuals who are made, right? Basically, somebody who has a status in the street gangs, and eventually, there's a lot of individuals who don't have that influence, right? So, one thing I always question this is like the streets gives the power to these individuals, right? Which it is all right, man. If you want to give the power to this individual, it's all right. But the power is actually within the individuals on the streets, the ones controlling the big masses, right? That's what the power lays in, right? Let's not forget that these individuals are playing from the inside to the outside, right? To the streets. And there's so much that these individuals can do because most of them are lifers, and their power can only do so much depending on who's running it, right? But just because a promise of you at one point in your life taking that seat, that's all it takes for an individual to obey this guy and basically do the ultimate, sacrifice your life just to please this one individual, so at the end of the day can bless you. So on this week, 3 individuals who participated on this pegada, they're gonna do life behind federal prison, right? That's a mandatory sentence right here, which I don't know what the sentence is going to come through, but they got found guilty already. And out of those 3 individuals, how many of those guys are actually going to be made? Just to think about it, right? How many of those guys sacrificed their life, so at the end of the day, they're not going to become nobody in prison, right? It doesn't work. Come on, you cannot have way too many chiefs but not enough Indians. We have to understand that. At the end of the day, the main power comes from the streets. And the more that these individuals seek that seat at one point of their lives, meaning that status at one point of their lives, everybody's going to be listening to the guy above, right? I'm just putting this out there so you can have an idea of what I'm speaking on, right? At the end of the day, everybody's entitled to do whatever they want with their life. I'm just throwing the idea, just to think it and process it, you know? Because I have seen so many Raza individuals sacrificing their lives for the promise that never comes through. And possibly this could be it right there. So with this being it, we are done with this video. Highly appreciate it, man. Another conviction, and it's not going to be the only conviction. This is going to keep going and going and going until we fill those prisons with nothing but Raza people. Straight up, man. So with this being it, we are out. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Tell me what you think about this case, man. Highly appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Al ratos.